need to post the fact that that everything is up. Okay. I don't know because I can't hear her. Can't hear her. Okay. Can't hear her. There you go. Oh, customized time? That's silly. Yeah. Okay. Go over here. Do that. Okay. And I go over here. Do that. Okay. Close that down. Hello, everyone. I'll be with you shortly. Okay. Post that. And post that. Close, close, close. Okay. Oh, hello, everyone. Oh, it's a little early for a live chat. 10 a.m. Little early. However, that's also like 6 p.m. for everyone across the pond. Oh, thank you. I'm not sure if I can do anything about that, but I will see. Save. There we go. I'm glad you got the coin, Burn. So, everyone, welcome in. We're letting people trickle in. It's a couple minutes since the start. I had to go and post the fact that the live chat was up and going everywhere, which I have done. Um, it is high noon in Texas. That would be true. It would be. Um, I changed the times of the live chats though, so like everyone, like every fan has at least a chance of making one. For those people who work in the mornings, I have evening chats. For those people who work at nights, I have morning chats. Especially for like the the Europeans who are 6, 7, 8 hours behind, it's evening for all of you. So hopefully you're being able to get a chance to roll in and see the live chat as well. And then I have those dedicated few who are watching this while at work. As long as you don't get in trouble, more power to you. If you get in trouble, don't do that. Don't get in trouble for me. This will be posted back up on will be posted over on YouTube afterwards, so you can come back and watch it if you just want to watch me ramble and be kind of stupid. But let's go ahead and get you guys caught up on the latest and greatest of news. before we get into answering questions and whatnot. So you guys can help populate me with things to talk about while I do a recap. Heavenly Chaos 1, Heavenly Chaos, uh, title and book series and title of book the same, to maybe cut down on the confusion of Morgan's Bidding, Binding Words, or Aether's Revival, Aether's Blessing. That came out on the 10th. Yay. Slow start. Not surprising since the first book of a new series. I'm hoping that it has legs under it and will continue to be something that everyone will enjoy. I know it is a different take from some of my other books, in the fact that we go back and we touch on mental health, and also the fact that it is a slow burn. And for those who are wondering, yes, it will be a small harem, but it will still be harem. Um, and if you can't figure it out by the end of the first book, then I'm sorry. And I will leave that there. Audio for it is through Podium, but Andrea will still be the narrator. I think they're going to put up. I don't think they've done it yet. Let me just go. Just gonna go double check real quick because I can do that. I'm at my computer. I don't think they've put up a pre-order yet. Okay, so no, not yet. They will. It's Podium. They will end up putting up a pre-order for it at some point. When they do, I will let people know. I think they're aiming for like late June, but I have no givens yet because I don't actually have full information from them. There is no pre-order yet. However, there will be one, and I will post about it once it is there. The audio for Aether's Revival 8 is with Andy's audio editor. Um, no idea how long it's going to take for that to get back to me, but once it does, I will then audio proof it, find the little corrections and stuff that I want her to make, and then we will send it off. With the way things are going, I would say that it's very likely you guys will see it in May. Um, I wouldn't expect to see it before May, but I would expect to see it in May. I am going to be at JordanCon this week from the, what is it? It is the 19th, 20th, and 21st at JordanCon in Atlanta. So I will be there. I have things to give away. So if you are attending, I have stuff to give away. Please come say hello and get something free from me. And please do so. Um, if you are not attending, but you are still in the Atlanta area, there are various ways to get a hold of me via Discord, Facebook Messenger, and whatnot. I have already told at least one person over on the Discord server that I would do my best to step out of the convention, at least to say hi to them. So I am not opposed to doing that if you're like there and just can't get away for like the convention itself. Because I don't even know if they still have tickets. It's not like Dragon Con where there are tens of thousands of people showing up. JordanCon is a much smaller conference. Um, let's see. As you can see there, Antecedents Legacy 3 Terran Tactics currently has a release date of June 17th. That has preview chapters up on Patreon currently. It will be the next book published. My editors are working on that and Lux Voice 8 Emerita Divided, which you can see the current estimated date there is August 17th for that. And I have just started in on Aether's Revival 9, titled To Be Determined. Um, so that is where like all the wordy book stuff is currently, as far as I know. So welcome in, everyone. We've killed about 9 minutes from the start of the stream. I've given you a recap. And if you're watching this back later on YouTube, congratulations. You didn't have to sit through 2 hours of me stumbling over words to find out all that information. I'm driving, so internet will be spotty. No problem, Outlaw. Just be safe while you're driving, man. I shall only say one thing about Heavenly Chaos. It's great. If you haven't read it, go do so. I'm waiting for the Audible version. You'll be pleased when you get it. No, it's one general thing. It's just an expanded thing. Sorry, my one girlfriend is making is the peanut gallery beside me today, but it's okay. We love her, and most of what she says actually makes a whole lot of sense. Then I should pay attention to it. And then she's a cat, so there are the other moments. Ah, well, book two has been written. It'll end up in its turn in rotation, guys. Uh, I do appreciate those who've been able to leave reviews. I thank you. If you've posted about the book being out on various Reddit, Facebook, Discord groups, and whatnot, thank you very much. I appreciate you getting the word out. With the first of a new series, it's even more important because it doesn't have a back catalog to help push things along for me. Um, I only rarely peek at reviews like when a book first gets published, just to make sure that Amazon's not screwing me over and the reviews are posting. I had a quaint one. It struck me as odd the other day. It was a 5-star review, and I thank them for that. But it was like a 4 paragraph. I didn't care for this book because the author doesn't write the way I like. So it was really odd. So obviously, probably somebody who's never read my stuff before picked up that book for the very first time, uh, and was confused that I don't write like everyone else. It wasn't, introduction, rising action, action, falling action, conclusion. It's my more slice of life style, and he was very confused by that. Um, I, however, was confused by him saying that it didn't need the adult content it had because Heavenly Chaos doesn't have adult content. So yeah, the whole review came down to it. It sounded more like he skimmed the book than read it. But I mean, he gave me a 5-star review. That's nice, but I think it would behoove him to go back and actually read the book instead of just skim it, and then maybe it would answer some of the questions that he thought were not answered. Then again, he might have been one of those persons who were like, "Well, why doesn't Gregory challenge the Emperor in book one?" Because some people are like that. Gee, I don't know why that wouldn't happen, guys. Hmm. It is 7 p.m. in South Africa. Winter is coming. Well, yeah. So at least I was right on like the general progression of time zones. So it is evening. You are on the wrong side of the equator. So it is coming up on winter for you. It is coming up on summer for us. One of these days, I'm going to visit somewhere on the other side of the equator just to say I have more than anything else. I really should travel a little bit more. One of these days, I'll probably get around to it. It's too early for me to be awake. Well, I mean that happens depending on where you are. I mean, what is it like in Australia? It's like 0 o'clock in the morning or something right now. I think I'm gonna go find out. Yeah, it's 3 o'clock in the morning in Australia, so not the best time for the Aussies who might be tuning in. Fair enough. Thanks for the early stream. Staying up until 3 a.m. on work days is a killer. I am assuming, Kenobi, you are in Europe, not in Australia currently. And that's why you're thanking me because some of my other streams do run to like 2 o'clock in the morning for you guys if you're over in Europe. Ah, just remember if you sing the Pink Panther theme tune, they can't catch you. Yeah, I'm not sure if that. I'm pretty sure that's not public domain though. So while they might not catch me, I'm pretty sure they could ban the audio of the stream, which would probably be bad. I mean, the whole point is me talking, and if they cut the audio out, then you don't have that. So just a Just a thought there. The perk of working from home is no trouble while watching the stream. Fair enough. I mean, unless you're using a company computer and somebody can remote in and see what you're doing, and in which case, whoopsies. But if you're someone like me who works from home for yourself, then you can get away with basically anything you want. Except for my boss. My boss is an asshole. He never lets me do anything fun. Dick. I'm gonna fire him one of these days. I think firing your boss should be a thing. If you get enough employees that are like, this guy's a dick, we want him gone, that the company should listen to you. Because obviously it's a management problem at that point. Then again, I think most CEOs would be fired at that point. Probably. I even wrote a proper review. Well, thank you, Widowmaker. I appreciate that. Words are hard. I 100% agree with you. I use them every day, and every day I need editors, and not just for what I put down on paper. My editors are kind, courteous, and correct the words that come out of my mouth half the time as well. So, okay, maybe half is a bit much. Just feels like it some days. Well, not both of you. Normally, one of you is kind and courteous at any given point, and the other one's a cat. And then it flips. And then a cat. And then it flips. If I could, I would be there. Might have to save up for Dragon Con instead. Dragon Con's way more expensive. It is a much bigger convention, though. I mean, that is a good long weekend convention that runs Thursday through Monday. Um, but I think Dragon Con is one of those events that if you're a nerd or geek, it should be on the list of things that you should do once in your life. It's a nice thing. You get to see a lot of people with the same tastes as you. And to be honest, a lot of lit RPG authors hang out at Dragon Con. Is there any significance with Atropos's name? Okay, so I'm gonna correct one thing. I did not look at it because somebody pointed it out to me. Let me just go real quick. Um, the Greek mythology, one of the three fates, meaning unalterable or inflexible. Actually, not what I was looking at when I gave her that name. Let me see if I can go find what I was looking at real quick. I named her after something very much like her last name, Foxglove, which is belladonna, which is Atropa, belladonna. So Atropos is actually a callback to belladonna, another deadly plant, not the inflexible fate. Um, so yeah, I probably should have looked up Atropos when I named her because I was like, Atropa. I don't like Atropa. I want to change it a little bit. I'll go Atropos. That sounds nice. And I've had some readers comment on me before that a lot of my uh, female names end in A. So I definitely wanted to change it. And apparently I got the fate of inflexible, the inflexible fate, when I was trying to name her after Nightshade. Because if you read the book, you understand. The last name is Foxglove. It should help you understand. So yes, there is significance, Rob. It is not the significance most people thought. It was a good question, and I don't think it's much of a spoiler. So I was more than happy to answer that one. If you ask a spoiler though, I will put you in timeout. Well, actually, my moderator slash editor will probably put you in timeout. So don't do it. No problem, D-Jack. Thanks for coming in, man. I'm glad that so many people out there like the crazy stories in my head. That's excuse me, excuse me. That's always fun. The peanut gallery? Don't you mean the pistachio bleachers? Ah, yes. It shouldn't always be the peanut gallery. You can have a little bit more taste with the pistachio bleachers. Cashew corner. Uh, the walnuts wings. That just reminds me too much of Muppets at that point. I want to sit in the wings. I gave it 5 stars, and the review definitely, and that review definitely wasn't mine. Well, I appreciate that, MV. I'm glad the 4 paragraph review wasn't you. I would be surprised though. I mean, you're not normal. The reviews I think or yours, mind you, names are hard for me. Haven't been 4 paragraph. I didn't really read this, but I want to leave a reviews. So no, he specifically called out people. So and like I said, it just probably somebody new who had never picked up any of my books, and that was the first one they picked up and wasn't used to my writing style. And if they thought Heavenly Chaos 1 was spicy, whew, they're going to be in for a shock if they read any of my other books. And I just saw that comment. Well, that was 10 minutes ago. Correct. If they think that's spicy, they would hate to see what they consider for the rest of your series. I mean, yeah. I mean, Kenobi, if you think about it, a lot of the cultivation series that I can think about, they don't do romance at all, like at all. And the few that do are very lightly touched on or alluded to. They're not really shown on screen. So, would you ever go to Japan? Kenobi, I would consider going to Japan. The problem being is I really, really enjoy my cave. Really enjoy my cave. So getting me out places is normally the problem. Um, Japan has a lot of things going for it that actually interest me to go. I would like to go to Germany and see some of the castles. Also, part of my heritage is German. I'd like to go to Italy and see some of the architecture there because once again, part of my heritage is Italian. Definitely want to hit Ireland at some point because you can't get away from that heritage. I would stop in with France, but I don't feel like dealing with people just like me. In other words, a bunch of assholes. Um, but yeah, there are places around the world I would like to go see and visit and basically just take in the general culture of. Um, Japan is one of those. I watch enough anime that it would be amusing to me to see how similar and yet vastly different they are. It's like for non-Americans who think that they know what American culture is because of TV and videos, and then come across and realize, well, yeah, that's right, but what happened over there? And then we tell them they should get out of Florida because Florida doesn't count. It's a 1:15 a.m. in Cambodia. Uh, Trucker, if you're in Cambodia, I hope you're safe. If you're not, were you just looking up random times? Oh, Charles Dean. Good old Charles himself. Another well-known lit RPG author. I have done a 3 to 5 a.m. stream before, and it is a killer. I believe that, Widowmaker. Hey, Cranky Bits, it's going fine. Um, Winter is coming quick, high before the copyright police show up. I mean, they can't get you in trouble for naming something. You just can't use it for monetary gain, and this is not a monetary channel. So, which of your series was your favorite progression system? Do you have a favorite progression system beyond yours, and if so, which series? I don't, I don't really do the whole favorite thing, McKnight. It's like picking a favorite child as as I like to reference it for many parents. With my parents, it's easy. I know it's obviously me, not my sisters, but it's like picking a favorite cat in the house. You normally don't have, you shouldn't pick a favorite cat because then the other one's going to give you a hairball to teach you your lesson about not picking them. But I very much also don't break down, oh, this is my favorite progression story, this is my favorite fantasy story, this is my favorite sci-fi. If I like a book, I like a book. I don't try to quibble and break it down into where it falls in a spectrum. So that's that's really hard for me to answer for you. I'd also like to remind people that I normally sit 10 plus minutes behind all questions and comments, so if you do show up and say something, I'll get there. Just give me time. Since there are apparently 40 of you here, which still confuses the hell out of me because why 40 people would want to watch me ramble and answer questions and make a fool of myself is beyond me. I have a couple of managers I wish I could have fired. I mean, Lost, anyone who's ever worked for other people probably have one or more of those managers that, if for one reason or another, never understood, didn't get, didn't care, hated the people under them, hated themselves, and they took it out on everyone around them, so on and so forth. I had a manager who, for years, tried to get me fired, and if I wasn't so damn good at my job, they probably would have been able to get away with it. However, I was very good at my job. I did more than my coworkers did, and the bosses above that idiot knew better than to, fire me when I was not not an essential worker, but honestly, I was an essential worker. Things would have been much worse for them, and promptly were when I left. It took them a while. They eventually adapted to my departure, but everything that I did above and beyond what I was supposed to be doing, because I like my day to run smoothly, was no longer being done, which is always fun when they realize, oh, he really was doing things that weren't his job just so he could have a nice, easy day while he was here. Because me having a better day is always more important to me. Uh, my boss watches Twist's background sound so he won't care if I ever get caught. Fair enough, Wolf. And that's once again though, that's a boss who understands. Hey, having a little something. Oh, hello, kitty. Come here. Come here. Ugh, the plushy princess is going to grace us with her presence, albeit briefly. No, no, but you tapped my side. Whatever, cat. Having a boss who understands that having something in the background to help you continue forward is always nice. I have met those bosses, but I've also met the other one who's like, no, you must suffer in silence. So, yeah. Uh, no, it is not. So, ZB says, Heavenly Chaos was amazing. Left a review, can't wait for more. Is this the last book in Luck's voice? What's the next series slotted for that position? Actually, since I finished Lux Voice 8, it turns out it is not the last of the series. Lux Voice 9 will end up being the last of the series. Um, if I had tried to make it the last of the series, it would have been very much like Alpha World Book 8 and Apocalypse Gate Book 8, where it felt like it should have been two books. So I stopped myself from doing that and went ahead and found the decent cut for 8, let it end, and then I will have 9, which will end the series. So Lux Voice 9 will end the series. What is taking its place at the moment? Unknown. I do have my Demon Punk series, but that does focus around the idea of rifts or dungeons, and I'm not sure if I should be running Heavenly Chaos and that at the same time, because that would be two series then that focus heavily on the idea of going into um, pockets or rifts and pulling things out of them. I do have other ideas in my head, but I haven't had the time or energy currently to try to flesh out something extra on the side because of life and things I have going on in my personal domain that I'm not going to be talking about. So I can't answer what will follow Luck's voice at the moment because especially with another book to follow that one, you're looking book 9 would be sometime in like early 25. So whatever follows that would be late 25. So I do have time, thankfully. Was We Star Sauce intentional or just a combination of you and your editors not wanting to spell check Worcestershire sauce? No, it was intentional. If you look, there is we have done our best to remove any hard Earth references. So Worcestershire sauce is not there; it's Worcester sauce. French toast is, I think it was custard toast instead of French toast. I think French fries is went in. Um, I might have just been fries. I don't know. But we were doing our best to pull quote unquote Earth references out. Since Earth isn't part of the series, I have to try to walk a line on that. So if one or two things sneak in, they sneak in, but we are doing our best. So I didn't want Worcestershire sauce because it just didn't really work. And if you say Worcester sauce, people are going to go, "Oh, I know what you're talking about," because nobody really says it right. If you get close enough, people go, "Oh yeah." So it's it was enough. I will end up seeing you at Dragon Con this year. Well, Death's Hope. Wait, Death's Hope is hoping to see me at Dragon Con. I feel vaguely threatened all of a sudden. Huh. Maybe I need a bodyguard this year. Death's Hope is looking for you. Hmm. Well, I'll be glad to meet you. Hopefully I'm still alive afterwards. Just, chatting. I want to do Dragon Con, but true crowds seem horrible for me, which is fair enough, Drigas. Dragon Con is a busy place. Um, Depending on where you're going and what you're doing, you will be around the crowds more or less. Um, that's where you start looking for maybe some of the maybe less popular conventions that still have the people that you want to see attend them. So do do. When are we getting your cookbook? Well, Kenobi, my girlfriends are going to be slowly compiling and working on the recipes of such. So it will not be soon, but it looks like there is going to be forward movement on that idea. Especially since there's already a name sitting out there just waiting to be used, and I have already put together a quick compilation of the different meals from Last Horizons and Alpha World. I still need to go back through the other series and pull meals out of them, or even the same meal and then note. Because then when we do like Happy Hash Browns, which has been in a couple of different series, it can be noted that it's out of what series. Because one of the things I want to do is with when the recipe is there is give you the series and like chapter it's in. So if you wanted to just go refresh yourself on that part, on what happened in those books for that meal to be there, you could. But it's all a work in progress. But there is actually forward movement on it now. It's not just quite as nebulous an idea. So there is that to look forward to. The bonus with being a streamer is it's very hard to be put into timeout. Um, well, I mean, your comments can be put into timeout. There is a ban hammer if my moderator gets serious enough about it. Don't don't require the ban hammer. That's all it means. I think you can be muted for like a length of time too, not really full out banned to start with. So I am enjoying Heavenly Chaos, only about 24% in. Well, Angry, you are still in the early stages where things are going. Not yet, Rob. I am probably going to go with the design of the coin when the coin gets done. That is a work in progress currently. The artist who did the cover for Heavenly Chaos has been working with me for a shirt design and also a coin design. So when the coin design is done, I'm probably going to get that as the tattoo. We will see when he is done. Hello from Wyoming. Well, too tall. At least you're. I don't know. The weather could be nice or not in Wyoming at this time of year. I mean, because you're up near America's Hat, so I hope it's nice. What? Yeah, Wyoming. It's up near Canada. I did say it was up near America's Hat. No, no, up near America's Hat. I'm so glad that America's Hat catches all that snow and stuff, and it doesn't come down here to the desert. For my Canadian fans, I appreciate you catching all that for me. CB, I just answered that. The artist is working on the coin and the T-shirt. So, hey, I'm out for a walk. Hope it's going all right. Yeah, it's fine. Thank you for stopping in. I am never gonna get your name right, so I'm just gonna refer to you as you. I feel like I should have a rubber shark puppet when I do that, though. For those people who remember that. I'm not sure if he's still around. I'm sure he is. What is the most recent book you've read and enjoyed? Ooh, deaths. I've just started in on Apocalypse Regression 4 by Dean and Mejia, and I've enjoyed that series. So I can truthfully answer that. Um, Trying to think. I don't get a lot of time to read, guys, so I'm gonna go with that one right now because my brain is mush. There's a reason why I have spreadsheets for names for my series. So yeah, cultivation series that does have spice. Just read Bruce Centaur. Actually, his latest cultivation series, as far as I know, is Fade to Black. It hints at stuff, but it doesn't show actually anything actually on screen. Um, Crystal Core, I think it's Crystal Core. I did read book 2 of that, so I can say I've read that recently and enjoyed it. Recent being a general term for me in books. Well, it has spice, Breg, but it's the like the Skinamax scenes are not there. The channeling of their power through each other isn't like, okay, I've had 4 orgasms, you're good now. So yes and no. There is a little bit of spice, but it doesn't show full graphic. It doesn't detail full graphic on it. So Japan is super fun, but also eerie because it's like stepping into an almost weirdly perfect feeling society. It's because they're very polite. Everyone is very polite in Japan. It's like Canada in that regard, unless you're in one part of Canada where they speak a language other than Canadian. Uh, you know, part of my heritage. I don't feel like being completely mean to the French Canadians, so I'll leave it there. I'm supposed to be working, but who can miss a chance to see such a glorious beard? Fair enough, Charles. When Ramon asks me later, I'm going to say that you paid me for the break. The live chat was paid for and sponsored by Charles Dean. This way, he had a reason to take a break during writing. I will be there. I will be at DragonCon. I've already had my tickets and my room set out too tall, so I will be at DragonCon. They actually did accept me as an attending professional again, so I will probably also be on panels. I have not. The panel list doesn't really come out until later for months yet, and I don't really finalize things until like the last couple weeks leading into the convention. So, but once I know all that information, I will of course let you guys know. No, I have an ex-girlfriend in Cambodia. Fair enough, trucker. Fair enough. Cultivation is usually main characters who avoid romance like the plague. Growing powerful takes up their entire existence, it seems. Last of interactions and depth is why I usually get bored of Eastern Cultivation series. It's usually pretty depressing and empty. It's also very psychotic, honestly. If you go and you look at some the last couple of years, there's been a lot of Western cultivation that's come in that's helped negate some of the psychotic nature of the cultivation genre. But everything with like the older Eastern cultivation novels was the young master who would literally go out of their way and attempt to kill the main character for no reason other than happened to look at the jade beauty that the young master wanted. And then when that went wrong, a relative of the young master would step in who's supposed to be more powerful than the main character, and then the main character would defeat them. And it's like, okay, if you have a society where anybody of overpower can just come down and squish you with no regard, you're going to have a problem with that main character ever becoming a threat because anytime it looks like they're going to start to become a threat, somebody of sufficient power would be like, no. And they're not going to be stupid about it where they're going to send a couple of minions. They would literally just go and off them. There's a reason why I have in Aethers Gregory doing the okay, we cannot draw attention to ourselves until, we're powerful enough to not get squished. It's been hinted at roughly that keeping away from the Emperor's Eye is a really good idea because if the Emperor found out, he's probably not going to be okay with the fact that Aethers come back, and at the moment is easily squishable to somebody up at the Divines here. So, is it true you're getting a cooking show on Food TV with the launch of your Bodacious Foods cookbook? Uh, Shoto, that would be amazing, but it is false. Actually, if the Food TV wants to do something, they can bring back Cutthroat Kitchen, and I would be entirely happy. Just saying. Rewatching that show always makes me laugh. Just some of the trying to figure out how to deal with the sabotage before they start trying to do it themselves. Or in the rare cases where Alton will address the camera and be like, "If I had that, I would do this. It would work out." I'm not sure if what they're doing is going to work for them. I like those moments, and they happen like in the mid to later seasons more often, I would say. But trying to figure out how to get around the various sabotages is one of the reasons I very much enjoy watching Cutthroat Kitchen. And if I leave a significant gap between rewatching them, I don't remember everything exactly, which lets me kind of experience them again and be like, okay, this is what I would do. Oh, that's right, they do this. It doesn't work out. Cambodia isn't that terrible anymore, and loved Heavenly Chaos. Very obvious you've read Path of Ascension, trying to get some beta readers of Path to read Heavenly Chaos. I did read. I do read Path of Ascension. Book 6, I enjoyed. I don't like multiple POVs, so the chapters in book 6 that follow are snippets following other people through the world dungeon that they're going through. Don't work for me as a reader. I want to follow the main character, and his group, not the great expanding network that is a web serial that given novel form. Heaven, sorry, Ascension. God, I'm terrible with names. There were like 6 cultivation series that I sat down and read when I had the idea of, okay, I want to do a more lit RPG cultivation series. Um, that all contributed to Heavenly Chaos. Um, the people have called Heavenly Chaos a clone of Path of Ascension, I would laugh at. Um, Outside of the main characters both cooking, my character doing it for because he loves it and actually showing recipes and cooking, as opposed to the enchanting machine that is Matt over in um, Path. The vast differences between um, giant sword fighter versus uh, hammer and shield. So the one person who came at me and said, "You're basically you took a cheap clone of Path of Ascension," and I went, "Really? Because I can count you far more differences than similarities." So I mean, it's what? No, I have I have not got any weird whispers. Gentlemen and ladies, if anyone in chat whispers you weirdly with random stuff and it is a problem, if you would let the moderator know, she will remove them from the chat. She thinks we have a couple of bots that are sitting there waiting to harass people. So you're aware. I am true. Let's see, that's 45. I am 15 minutes, 20 to 15 minutes behind everyone, so I can't say if anything is really odd going on. So, um, you never sound like a fool because we enjoy the stories you tell, hoping to hear some more insight of what's coming. Fair enough, Envy. I honestly think I sound like a fool most times, and that's because I feel like I don't have a good control of the thread of conversation when I am talking to people. When I have Andy here, it's easier because I address it more like I'm bouncing directly off of her, and we can have a conversation together. That makes it easier for me. She is working hard on trying to finish out the Wandering Inn she's currently working on, so she couldn't make it today. But since I'm basically looking at a screen of myself and reading questions, I feel like I'm not as on the ball as I could be. It's always easier talking to someone than talking to a nebulous entity, but at the same time, talking to someone drains my batteries a lot faster normally. My spoons! Give me back my spoons. Or sporks in this case, because sometimes you have to stab a motherfucker, and a spork is just easier at that point. Uh, I'm trying to figure out how to word my question delicately. Good luck, Archron. This one scheduled me to close, which meant I got home at 2 a.m., open the next day, which meant I had to be there at 7. Then to work a 14-hour shift on top of that. Lost? I'm sorry. I did my 16, 18-hour days for like a half a year, and it damn near killed me. I will never do that again. I won't. I just won't. No, you get me for 8, maybe 10 hours, and if I'm not actively on the clock, you're also not getting a hold of me. My time is my time. Fuck off. That's where I was when I was finally getting out of work because no, and it's something that the younger generation, because I'm in my 40s, guys. The younger generations, I feel, probably have a good idea about things. Where people my age and older than me will look at some of them and be like, well, you guys should just be grateful to have a job, which I can understand. When I was 17, I was really grateful to have a job. At the same time, work should respect your boundaries as well. So I'm in that weird place where I ride the middle of a whole lot of topics, and I'm gonna stop there because I'm gonna get myself in trouble otherwise. I love the progression of love harem steps that were in Lux's voice with Lee and Doc, where he had to have four tasks to properly court an elf. I think one of the ones I really enjoyed goes all the way back to Last Horizon with the dwarf being married. There were steps. There were things that he wanted done that had to happen. That I really enjoyed. Those moments. I like taking little bits of culture. I liked AR. I liked taking Claudia. The idea of marrying Mindy and Boldoon and adhering more towards Boldoon culture in that regard, which I pulled a lot from old German ideas of marriage, um, or the little bit of difference with that I created for Aethers in book 8 when he marries Cloverling and Roshana. The progress, what he has to do to you know basically respect the culture of where he's at while also marrying. I like those moments. Is Xander going to tell everyone on MX Hub that this is his favorite shop on the Citadel? Okay, so there were bots popping in. I'm not surprised. Um, I do like that other people have seen that Kenobi. I mean, Xander is of course he's basically a PMC. He's from Earth, sandbox. Anybody who's gamed and played Mass Effect remembers like that cutscene where Shepard could endorse a shop. And I didn't intend it when I wrote it, but it was probably in the back of my mind, especially when he started going to different places like, hey, we can, set up a deal. Um, and it's a fun little nod for geekdom to understand those moments. We haven't seen any of the advertisements ourselves. I might or might not include that in the series later up. We'll find out. Sometimes it gives you a warm, fuzzy feeling when they have to employ three people to replace you. It always does. Oh, he was doing so much more. Oops. Maybe we shouldn't have pissed him off. People watch shows about dysfunctional famous families, so watching you is definitely within the realm of enjoyment. Fair enough. I mean, yeah, except I'm not nearly as famous or as rich as them. Still, I'd take it. I would love it if, Netflix or Amazon Prime or whatever came to me and were like, "Hey, this series of yours, we think it has potential. We want it." Because even if I don't get paid like the most, just the fact that the branding of it would push me up and over the top would would be amazing as fuck. It would take some of the down talking about the fact that I write harem, and just completely shut it down for those people who've done it. Those people like, oh, harem, oh God, how could you ever read that tripe? Be like, yeah, but I mean, I got a show. Do you got a show? Do do you have a flag? And if you know Eddie Izzard, you understand. Between the cover art and some inconsistencies in description, is Atropos's body type gothy-esque or more like our new favorite sadist? She's not as round as Gothy Book One. She's she has still been groomed most of her life for being a holder, which means physical exertion. she's just not the chiseled goddess that another one of the characters is. She is endowed enough in some areas. She is a short stack, and it's mentioned in the series. For those people wondering, she's like 5'4". She is chesty, and she is not chiseled, but she's not overly fluffy either. Um, so meh. I mean, it really depends on where you're trying to ride a line on. Is she this? Is she that? Um, she is her own person. I didn't like I didn't go like, oh, okay, I want a character more like Zelda, or I want a character more like Rosa, or anything. That's who she is. That's who she was in my head when I wrote her. So, but maybe that answers your question. She is actually. Let me pull up the cover art because my brain is my brain. Doop de doo pictures. Doop de doo pictures. Doop de doo. Yeah, the cover art actually is fairly decent. Actually, the sweater should be looser. It should really hide what she has underneath that sweater a lot more. But she was prepared to be a holder, which is a lot of physical exertion. So I personally probably would have added another 10 to 20 pounds to her, but that's me. But I definitely would have put her in a looser sweater. But art is art. Um, Sometimes you have to accept some liberties with an artist. Like the fact of the skills on there. He was like, it's going to be too empty. We need to fill some of these in. So okay, well, this kind of skill, go ahead and pop those in there. At least then it won't look as empty behind them. It gives more of an idea of what's what. So I hope that answers your question. In fact, I want to go look at that again real quick. Yeah. Okay. So I don't I don't go out of my way to like build the character. The characters are there when I write. Like I said, it's just the stories in my head, guys. I'm just an after action reporter for you. Um, but overall, the art is not terrible. It is not as far off as, oh god, back with Apocalypse Gates 2. I had been trying out another artist, and they gave me like a mousy thin version of Gothy, and I was just like, no, no, I'm done. Sorry, dude. I can't even give you another chance. Out of the description I gave you, that's what you gave me back? Fuck no. Just not doing it. So, it's scary when you think it's April 2024. It seems like yesterday it was only March 2020. Yeah. How long did it take you to come up with the Maloo of Heavenly Chaos with not long, Rob. Like I said, I'd been building around the idea um, of the cultivation for a long time. The difference is the hardest parts for me were always going to be what can you get out of a pocket. You have to go in to get the essence to advance up the ranks, but what else is going to be pulled from them and what is not? And I liked the idea that it's vaguely referred to in book one, like all of their meat, all of their grains and stuff. Those all come from pockets on the world. So the pockets are like where the majority of their industry for foodstuffs and their raw mineral, a lot of their raw minerals and stuff come from. Instead of doing it on the planet itself, it's done through the pockets because the pockets can sustain that. So if you go into the right the right pocket area and you cleared out all the monsters, just don't take the reward bubble. You can sit in there for a while, which might or might not come up later in the series. You can sit in there for a while to do things like, skin an animal, mine some ore. You can do all of that. It's only when you've taken the exit that you have to leave. Eventually, you would probably need to anyway because they're not vast places. Um, but I like the idea of the pockets being used for just sustainability, which, like I said, had been hinted at in book one. I don't go into the detail. I try to stay away from like hard economic stuff because I'm not an economist. Um, but it should be at least referred back to. How much does Andrea hate you right now for the number of new voice characters in the next installment of AR? Um, no, she doesn't too tall. I mean, she does the Wandering Inn, which she's gone and looked. The Wandering Inn has way more than even Aether's at this point. That happens with a web novel that's turned into a web serial that's turned into a novel. Um, she has never complained to me about about any of the number of voices in a series. So sometimes she might struggle because okay, what kind of I make them all try to sound you know average American? What kind of leeway does she have? Okay, this is more of a Norse culture, so I'm going to need at least something that pushes you towards like a Skyrim-esque mindset. But she's never hated me for that. She has been unamused with my choice of names before though. When you're trying to think of which story you should start, an old MC breaks out of the locked box and says, "Hello, boys, I'm back." I just follow the stories. If Sean or Seamus or Alvin, any of them came forward and said, dude, sit down," I'd write it. I just write the stories in my head. I am not touching a wash your sister sauce. That sounds terrible, Lost. That sounds like Pornhub made it, and I'm going to stay away from it. Do you like accordion potatoes, French fries, twice baked, mashed, paved, gratin, or smashed and pan fried potatoes more? Uh, Charles, I'm pretty sure you were here when I said I don't do favorites. Potato's potato. I'm Irish, son. It's really hard to have a bad potato. It can be done. God knows I've had it before. But it's really hard to do a bad potato. That's funny. I'm a medic. Okay, Death. So I feel a little calmer about the fact that you're going to be looking for me at Dragon Con now. I'm just saying. I've caught up to the point where you clarified you're a medic and not literally like you know Death's hope of finally catching me. So I feel a little safer. I appreciate that. Thank you for the clarification. Uh, have you ever thought about putting those jerk managers in your books and giving them an interesting end or their own hell? Nah, it's not my style. If I hate someone, I just deal with them myself. For most people who annoy me, I just ignore them. Growing up, I found the best way to get back at bullies was always to just ignore them. Don't rise to their taunts, don't rise to their provocation, just ignore them and keep moving on with life. Eventually, they get tired and they go after someone else. So when people upset me, most often, I ignore them. It works. A defense mechanism that has stood the test of time. 30 different variations of Frumenti. No, because Frumenti is just basically cracked cracked wheat boiled. What you do with it after that is up to you. But, getting to the point of, okay, here's the base, now add anything you want to it, that's going to be up to you. Because Frumenti by itself is just bland. How you spice it up and how you do that is what changes it. And I'm not sure my girlfriends will put Frumenti in the cookbook. So I have a Skippy tradition. That is the one tradition we will stay with. So for the fantasy meals, guys, because you guys are where I'm at, I'm seeing your guys talk about it. Um, we're gonna find, you know, Earth-based alternatives that I think work, and then use them in place of. So I mean, that's what you have to do, honestly. Um, but yeah, I might end up having to go to Vegas to see a butcher to get some different kind of meat for like the Alpha World chili. Excuse me, because that's sandworm. Yeah, yeah, probably gonna have to do that. In Britain, we have sunshine, gale force winds, rain, snow, and hail all within a couple of hours. I mean, yeah, there are places in the U.S. that are like that too, Greg. So, yes, Charles, I have read many of your books, going all the way back to The Bathrobe Knight. All the way back, sir. All the way back. What is that? I am 20 minutes, nearly 30 minutes behind. That's good right there. Uh, Heavenly Chaos has a lot of cooking in it. It really does. There's can't say it. Can't say it. Yeah, can't say it. I had a good question. Can't remember what it was. Story of my life, Eve. Story of my life. Vixen Warbride. It would be challenging though, Widowmaker, for that series, since it is humans and aliens without a shared language trying to understand each other. Um, I think it would be difficult because I mean you can't just give them an accent because then when they're speaking like broken English, that's what should be accented. I think it would be difficult to push through um, an audio version of Vixen Warbride. Love the series though. I look forward to seeing what he does in the future. As far as I know, he set the series down, which I understand. It came to the end he had envisioned. That happens. I know that if you take time to read a book, it is worth your time. I read it last time. You got me into Beware of Chicken. I like Beware of Chicken. It's a fun take on the idea of cultivation. Um, Apparently, there's another one out there called Heretical Fishing. I haven't read it yet. A couple people I know who read it said it's kind of like Beware of Chicken, but it's also its own thing because it follows fishing instead of farming. Um, and I just saw that blurb by Kenobi underneath that says you should try Heretical Fishing because that's there you go. Yeah. Mm. I wanted to say that I think you're handling the mental health issues of Heavenly Chaos is excellent, realistic, not dismissive, handled with a deft touch. Thank you, Rob. Um, getting across the idea of mental health issues, not being dismissive about them, not making them just a caricature, not just having them as a wallpaper to try to, give the character a difference, and doing it in a respectful manner is something that I think is important. I wanted to go back and deal with a series where there wasn't an AI that could help push past PTSD. There wasn't a dryad who can just give you essence of herself to help you calm down in a moment. Um, I will say, book two shows more progression on that front. Um, there's one scene in particular. I try to stay away from giving graphic description of the abuse because I do not want to further traumatize anyone reading it. I want to give at least enough that people can understand, those people who've never experienced that trauma could understand it, but not completely spiral someone. Um, but I also want it to be shown for someone who doesn't understand to at least have the idea to maybe grasp the idea behind it. Um, there's a specific scene in book two when you guys get to it that has it rides that edge, I think. Um, but it's important. It's part of what Ben is at this point. You can't go basically 13 years of being a unwanted punching bag and not have it shape you. I wanted to show that it's okay to have a therapist, guys. It's okay to have someone to talk to try to work through the issues with. But I am also very specifically not letting it be a, oh, it's okay. It's fine. He saw the mind maid. She made it all better for him. So I'm hoping it works. We'll see as the series progresses because it's not just Ben in that series. Ben isn't the only one with trauma that needs to be dealt with. Deaths. The Wheel of Time I was fine with for like the first four books, and then the scope sprawled too much for me. Um, when you had, God, I don't even remember, like 30 different points of view, and for characters that like the main character hadn't even met yet, they were just someone who's going to be added in that eventually was going to play a point, but we had no lead up to them beforehand. Nah, what? Why do I care? You have given me no emotional investment in this person. I don't care. If they show up later, I want to be just as clueless as the main character. Oh, there we go. Whew. I see the banhammer has had come out to play. Ah, people. So if Cutthroat Kitchen ever came back, then Daniel would like to appear on the show. Then I am not skilled enough, Garth. Knowing your limitations in life is something you should do. I am not skilled enough. I would make a fool out of myself in a heartbeat, but I would have fun making a fool out of myself. It wouldn't be about walking away with money at the end of that show for me. It would be about making other people's lives hell because that's fun. Winter mix in Wyoming, snow, hail, and rain. Just be careful driving too tall. Well, truckers do have that trucker trucker driving. I understand. I know that they're supposed to be. You're following the laws that you're only allowed to be on the road X hours out of the day, and that's what your logs are for. Yeah. So just as long as you're safe about it. But working in a kitchen for like 18 hours a day, 7 days a week for 6 months. No, not doing it again. Not doing it again. Do you accent give Andy accents ideas for characters, or does she pick them Up. She does. I have given Andy full creative control over any character. If there's something that I felt strongly about, like fully strongly about, I would be like, "Hey, Andy, could you do this kind of accent for this character?" I would clue her in. Andy has never disappointed me though. So, thanks for stopping in, Sir Sherf. No problem, Wolf. Thanks for coming in, man. Uh, I only worry if Netflix or Amazon came to you, how much they would change the characters and change from the original story. Outlaw, those are all things that can be worked out in contracts. Honestly, creative, how much creative control the creator still has over a show is all something that would come down to contracts. And while I would agree with you 100%, if they backed up a big enough truck of money to my door, I would gladly hand off my children to them and be like, you can change it however you'd like. Please give me the millions of dollars. I would feel bad for my fans if I handed off Alpha World to them and they completely changed everything. But with enough money, I would dry my tears with the $100 bills and be like, "It's sad. I'm sorry." I mean, I'm gonna be honest about it. I don't want to lie to you. Fallout is going to be our show to watch with dinners coming up because we're almost done with what we have of Cutthroat Kitchen again. I know a lot of people who've enjoyed it. A lot, some of the people that I trust to tell me, hey, this is enjoyable, you should watch it, and said they did a good job with this, you should watch it. So we're gonna give it a go. For every good adaptation, there are at least four bad ones. Fair enough. My mom's here. Why? Oh yeah, she shows up. I have not seen her comments yet. I thought you meant mom showed up. I was well, random mom has appeared. Mom showing up in for the Discord is probably for the live chat happens all the time. Mom showing up at the house while I'm doing a live chat, that would be different. I just finished reading Solo Leveling manga and saw a strong resemblance between those gates and the pockets in Heavenly Chaos. Um, I've read Solo Leveling through the books, through the light novels. I've watched the first season of the anime, and it's nice to see that Lit RPG had an anime, like a recognizable lit RPG name had an anime. That's nice. Maybe it'll open up the doors for things like Dungeon Crawler Carl or similar. I really don't know if any of my stuff would ever actually be picked up because of what I write. But once again, I'd be more than willing to have that conversation. Could be worse. A character could try to sing the Mary Poppins song. Yep, super Cali fructose. I actually brag. I actually go out at this point. I go out of my way to not include songs, especially copyrighted songs, if I can. I walked a very thin line with Teapot. So at this point, if there is more songs in my series, they will not be sung by the characters because I don't want to cause problems for the audio rights of things. Doing things like the uh, Searching Bride song from Binding Words, which was fully my creation, where Andy is singing in the morning when Sean wakes up, talking about the things she hopes to see in a husband. Um, that is fine. Original creations like that is fine. But me fully fleshing out a song, I'm not a song. I'm not a song maker. My father is a musician. My father can do that kind of thing. I cannot. Like there are a couple of things. There are a couple of songs I think that could be twisted easily and then adapted to my books. Um, Parody-ish songs or different takes on songs that are out there that would fit in fairly nicely, but I'm not going to go out of my way to try to get them done at this point either. If you guys are going to talk about things that didn't work out between books and shows, books and movies, there's the series that doesn't get talked about, the movie that doesn't get well, movie series that doesn't get talked about in this house because they butchered the works of Heinlein. So yeah, they called it like Bug Wars or something. It would have been fine, but they didn't. But they didn't. Has he verified the cookbook is going to be a thing? Linux, my girlfriends are working on it. It'll be a while. Let's see, there. My girlfriend answered it. But yes, it will probably eventually be a thing. Rob, I can't answer that. Back from the walk. A big difference between 50 degrees with 20-mile-an-hour winds and 70 degrees and 25-mile-an-hour winds. Yes, there is. Yes, wind chill factor is a thing, and if it's 50 and 20-mile-an-hour winds, that's cold. If it's 70 and 25-mile-an-hour winds, it's chill. Cow tongue looks gross, but if you don't know what you're eating, it makes a very good sandwich. I actually have a friend who loves cow tongue tacos. So, I mean, I haven't tried them myself, but he loves them. So, snake tastes like chicken. It's a bit stringy. There was a story I had been dealing with that I had started, but never put the effort behind finishing. God, a year or so ago, which was a System Apocalypse series with a chef main character, and then Dakota came out with his Cooking Apocalypse series, and I was like, well, probably not going to touch that one for a while again, at least, because I loved what Dakota did with his. Mine was more stark, which which seems odd considering that his had cannibalism in it. But yeah, I had an idea for that, and then then Dakota published his his Cooking Apocalypse series, and I was like, well, I'm gonna hold off for a bit at least. But in there is the bit where he is cooking chicken and snake and trying to get people who don't know what they're eating to eat the snake because food is limited, so it's totally chicken. Don't worry about it. Question about reviews. Do reviews from KU count as much or less than if I wait to purchase the book? Um, with Amazon having changed their system to basically just the star ranking thing that it is now, there is no way of knowing because Amazon is as clear as mud on how their back end works because they don't want people gaming the system, which I understand. But it also makes it hard for me to give you information that you want. Any review with words attached to it is worth more in their ranking system than just the stars. Not 100% confirmed, but it's very much felt that way across a lot of authors I talk about. Um, I don't know if you quote unquote have it out on KU if it gives you the verified purchaser tag when you leave the review. I don't believe it does. The only difference is if you own the book and you leave the review, you under the reviews you'll see the ones that say basically verified is it verified purchaser or whatever it is, basically showing that they bought the book. Which for me personally, if I'm going through reviews, those always weigh a little bit more because that's somebody who bought the book. I can say at least that they put money out to get the thing, as opposed to somebody who could just be writing a review because they're friends of somebody. So, uh, long answer short, too late. I don't know. I can only tell you what I think on them. Uh, One story I think would make a great short story or novel from your worlds would be James in his first little bit as the huntsman. I mean, Drigas, knowing James the way I do, it would probably be very entertaining. Um, but I don't have him telling me what that story is, and since I'm an after action reporter, I can't tell you. I envy the people who can be like, this is a story that I want to write, and then write it without having to be an after action reporter. The plotters who can sit down and write a story, and they can write this chapter and then this chapter and these chapters here and then piece things together and make a cohesive. I'm More power to them. I could never do that. I write stories start to finish, start to finish, start to finish. I can't do that. So unless the voices in my head are like, hey, this is what's going on, listen to me, I can't write it. By the end, by the end, before Brandon Sanderson took over, I think we had over 60 points of view. For Wheel of Time, yeah, probably. It started to feel like Jordan didn't have a point of view he didn't like. I made it through actually I made it through book 6, I think. Book 4 is where I stop if I reread the series. I liked Perrin. Perrin is loyal. He's hardworking. So getting that bit where he finds his falcon through book 4, I really liked that. Um, and that's good enough for me. As a reader, it was good enough for me. One of these days, I keep telling myself one of these days I'm gonna go back and push through start to finish. But honestly, with as little time that I have to read nowadays, it's probably not gonna happen. If I pick them up on audio and listen to them on my walks, though, maybe. But then the shifting points of view would probably really, like I said, would really bother me because they always do. I want to stay with the main character. Normally my rule of thumb is main character is about to enter a scene, main character is at the scene, main character is just leaving the scene. If it's just before the main character gets there, I don't mind having the camera basically in place, seeing what's going on before he walks in. It's like I also don't mind leaving the camera behind as the main character leaves. Those are fine to me. There is at least one point in Heavenly Chaos 2 where I break that, and you guys will see it when you get there. And it is Atropos and Sadie having a conversation because I think it was important enough to include. That is one of the few times where I have broken my own rule about point of view shift. But I'm not picking guard number three's opinion on them coming out of a pocket. Ugh. Just like I'm not giving you guys the points of view of what might or might not be happening about looking into Ben's past with more powerful people off screen, because whether or not they're doing that isn't known to him. I have definitive views on point of view shifts. I'll say that. Uh, no problem, McKnight. I hope your migraine tones down for you, man. Uh, totally understand your willingness to sell out. I mean, as much as I love writing, guys, at this point it is also my job, and I'm fine with a little hostile takeover if I get enough money out of it. Then I can go write whatever I want, and it doesn't matter anymore. I will 100% agree that that will be the case. You don't have enough money, Widowmaker. Yes and no, Rob. If you're a hobbyist, When I wrote Last Horizons, I didn't write it for the money. I wrote it because I wanted to tell a story. When I saw that I could make money doing it, I went, okay, this is something I enjoy doing anyway, so I'll make it a hobby. I'll do it in my do it in the off time, and put things out and make money with it. At this point, like Heinlein, it is my job. So at this point, it is making money is kind of important. It is. I no longer have another job to fall back on if this all goes tits up. Ugh, too tall. Truckers have always had my respect. You guys are what keep America going. Because honestly, if all the truckers in America just stopped, guys, everything stops. You will always have my respect. Um, and this in no way is to diminish our first responders, our firefighters, our EMTs, and what you guys are just as important to everyday life. You're not running into a fire. You're not trying to save someone from a heart attack. But without truckers, America stops. And while some people don't understand that, I do. So you will always have my thanks and appreciation. Compared to stuff like Redo the Healer and Interspecies Reviewer, your stuff is almost PG. Those were hilarious when they first came out. Redo not so much because that's torture porn, honestly. Interspecies Reviewer though, I found that hilarious. Hey, let's go to the whorehouse and have see what this species is like. I have to say, I fell out of my chair when we met Victor's associates at the gym. Eh, I was literally going to change their names before I released the book, but they grew on me. Yeah, we don't talk about Starship Troopers in the house though. For reasons. My one girlfriend is very much not happy with that. So she is a strong Heinlein fan, and what they did in that movie was terrible. Like I said, if they just named it Bug Wars or something, fine, hmm, totally fine. And then at that point, it's just a cheesy sci-fi action flick. Cool. I can't answer that, Linux. I can't. I'm sorry. Rattlesnake tastes like salty chicken. Hey, Ghosted, and welcome in, man. Uh, Thanks for having Chaos One. Looking forward to book two. No problem, Nazi. I appreciate you taking the time to read it. Seat of the Pants Rider. No, too tall. I'm an after action reporter. Seat of the Pants Rider means that I have thoughts and I'm just going with things. I'm the after action reporter. I'm just telling you what I've been told. Oh my god, I caught up to you guys? Oh wow. Well, it's an hour and a half in. I've caught up to you guys. The meth field has come. I can't. I just can't. There must have been a call for him. Somebody must have asked. Oh, how much back and forth did you go? How much back and forth did you go with yourself about including the outside poverty of Heavenly Chaos too? I'm confused by the question, Drigus, and I'm not sure if it's going to be a spoiler about what I could mention about Heavenly Chaos too. Mm, it's a fine line. Got laundry soap to pick up. Well, Sudsy, be careful, too tall. I'm running through Wheel of Time audio for the second time. There's a portion where Perrin crafts with the assistance of a male channeler that is amazing. I don't think I got there, Widowmaker. At least I don't remember it. I vaguely remember him quote unquote having his falling out with Rand and going off on his own while it was all like a secret hush hush mission that he was on his way to go do instead. And I think that's around the time I got bored. It's just like, okay, I can't. There were like 14 other points of view at that point. I can deal with different POVs and audiobooks. It's the same narrator. It's jarring when a big series has multiple narrators. Eh, fair enough. Transportation of goods is critical to society nowadays. I forgot who said it, but we're just a couple of meals away from anarchy. We really are. If truckers stopped, guys, there's only what's in the grocery stores and it wouldn't be replenished right away. Oh god. That is where you have a breakdown of society. On average, during daylight hours, there are about 5 million trucks on the road in the lower 40 in America. There are about 3 million trucks on the road. Um, I believe in Outlaw. Like I said, I'm fine with the movie if they named it anything else, but they named it Starship Troopers, which is just no, it's not the book. Ah, Meth Cat came. Meth Cat. Mm. Do you still do your gaming? Used to watch your YouTube channel. Oh, the BattleTech. That wasn't my YouTube channel. That was my friends who had been trying to do a startup YouTube channel. Um, that all fell apart. Those two had a parting of ways. Um, Me and Sean have not cleaned off his table and played in quite some time. We still get together once a week. We do anime instead. Does not preclude the chance of getting back into it again, but we have not done so. Um, the other driving focus that now lives a couple of hours away. Um, and as far as I know, they have settled that difference, but they're not planning on doing it again. Oh, I can't now. Lost. They're canon. They're in the book. I was talking about beforehand. Oh, the point of view. How much did I waffle about the point of view? I didn't actually when I wrote the scene because I felt it was important. It was just these two are having this talk. It it can be shown. In fact, it should be shown. It helps the characters. As another fan of Heavenly Chaos, almost as good as Aether's Love Academy series plus Cultivation. If you look into the eyes of Meth Cat too much, Meth Cat looks back into you. Meth Cat would run screaming. Heavenly Chaos is the first book that I read after finishing another book. Went right back to reread. I really like this book, and I think it was a great start to a series. Thank you, Struggles. I appreciate that. Uh, we plan on being at Author Nation, so plan on seeing you there. Will girlfriends be there too so we can meet them also? My girlfriend will be there but not participating. She's my emotional support plushie. I don't believe either of them will be attending with me. Yeah. Um, I don't know. That is in November. We will see what happens by the time November rolls around. I will be there on the rave day to meet for the fan uh, meeting and signing and everything else. The rest of the time of Author Nation, I am going to be there for the entire convention. I don't know how it's all going to work out yet, but yes, I will definitely be there for the rave on the Friday night. I believe it's the Friday night of Author Nation, which is supposed to be the big fans come in and can meet all the different people and so on and so forth. I do plan 100% to be there. As far as I know, I was setting up to have a table in that venue. So I will probably see about doing some kind of things to give away. I'm not selling things at those events because I am not dealing with oh, hang on, it's this much with tax and this much. Okay, hang on, I have to have a square thingy to charge this and that. If I do anything like that, I will be bringing stuff to just give away to people. So if you need help at the table for Abe, let us know. No problem. Yeah. I plan to be there. Um, I don't know what it's going to be like. Like I said, it's going to be the first um 20 books to 50K slash author nation since this is the year of the turnover. I don't know how any of it's going to flesh out or work, so I can't say. Um, I would probably take the assistance for when I just need to step away for bodily needs and whatnot. I don't know if any of my other moderators are going to be there and are going to be attending or anything else though. So I don't know yet. It is all a wait and see. It's kind of like the Jordan Con this week. I don't know. My only convention times is really Dragon Con, which is a beast far and above different everything else of everything else. Linux, you were not here when I answered that earlier, so I'll go ahead and answer it for you. The coin is being worked on. Same artist who did the cover and who is working on the shirt is working on the coin. It is going to be an image on one side. It is going to be words on the other. We are in progress. Whether or not the company can get the coin to look to even remotely match the art is also going to be a problem. We'll find out together. Well, I'll find out and see what I have to do at that point. Do you have any beta spots open? Kenobi, I do not. In fact, I have a couple of um, people recommended to me by my moderators, like real life friends of theirs who have asked to come in. Normally, I pull them from Patreon because if you're going to go above and beyond to support me on Patreon, then you're probably going to be solid enough to use in beta program. Because I need people who will be there for every series, who can get it done with like little to no warning that it's out, and can get it knocked out, leave their comments, and be done with it in the time span it's done. So I'm not saying it's a job, but at times it might feel like it. I don't know. But normally I pull from Patreon. When I need beta readers, I normally go to Patreon and be like, okay, guys, looking for people to do this. So, but at the moment, I'm still good. I don't have any more than 20 people working on beta at any given time because there are too many opinions on subjects at times. So 20 is my upper limit, and I normally wait till I drop below 15 before I go and get more. So it's still going to be a little bit yet. I was so close to having all the coins, and now there's always going to be a new one lost. Whenever a new series starts up, there will end up being a new coin. I mean, Resurrection Quest is out there, and there's still a coin for that. I have come to say Yar. I hope the ogre is doing well and hasn't had to dispense too many ogre glares without me to witness. No, Jazz. But we are wrapping up. I have caught up to all the questions and stuff, guys, and we're an hour and 43 in. So let's go ahead and get last calls for questions and comments, and I'll knock through them really quick, and then we're gonna go ahead and call it here, just short of 2 hours. It looks like. So go ahead. I'll give you guys all a couple of minutes. I understand there's a coin for each book. Oh, I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be for each book. But what we do we have a Shinhofen Books coin? We do not, Outlaw. I will have to look into that. I mean, I have the logo for Shinhofen Books, so I'll have to think about that. If I put the logo on one side of the coin, I'll have to figure out something to go on the other side. So you have a definitive heads and tails. Um, but yeah, it's something I'll think about. I had not considered just doing a brand coin. Um, huh, dirty filthy harem author. I could probably put that on the reverse side of the coin. Uh, think. Okay, we've given you all a little bit. Let me see here. Any other questions or comments? It's not just that it takes time away from the writing MV. It's the fact that it literally eats all of my sporks. So like after this is done, I'm probably gonna go flop into bed and read for a little bit just to help recharge my brain a little bit more. Or I'll go for a walk. I might go for a walk. I haven't got my walk yet because I normally go for my walk right around 10, which is when we started today. And I shouldn't be that lazy. I should still get my walk in. I might have lunch first since it's noon though. If you could pick any three of your series to turn into an anime live action or TV show or movie trilogy, which series would you pick? Oh, for each. Anime is probably one I'd go. That would be a little more flashy and hard to do with like a live action or movie. Um, Probably go Apocalypse Gates, honestly, because then all the mutated animals and stuff would probably work out fairly well. That would be way more of a hentai than an anime, but hey, you take what you can get. Live action. I don't know. You probably get away with Lux voice with live action fairly decently, honestly. Movie series trilogy. I don't have any that really translate well, honestly. I out of all those kinds of things, movie trilogies are one that I'm just not a huge fan of because something is always going to be left out. It's going to be condensed or something somewhere, and that's always going to bother me. Your coins that I have are with my military coins, and that's what they're there for, Trucker. One of my fans who is ex-military suggested challenge coins, and I have taken that and I have run with it. You can always put the water rock on the back of the coin. Fair enough, struggles. It's another thought. Another thought. So once again, guys, thank you all for coming. I don't bicycle because it hurts my knees more than walking, Rob. We will be back next month. Hang on. May 15th at 6 p.m. It is a Wednesday night, but that is what we are looking at there. Possibly we can get Andy to join us. We will have to find out. And there will be nothing else released between now and then, except possibly audio. So y'all have a good day, and I will see you next time. Okay, bye.